So you could, press record, yeah. Okay. So, is it recorded?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, so here, this is giving you actual data set, okay? Like, your test could be represented like this. Let's say hypothetically, your test mark is out of 25, okay? And these are all the students that are in this, that have done the test. These are all the marks that they received. You got about 3 point something, 5, so on and so forth, right? Now, what do we talk about the mean and the median? What is the mean? Does anyone know what the mean is? The average, right? And it's a way to describe your central tendency. Meaning, what does that mean, central tendency? Like your... Yeah, like your data sets, right? So your particular points that are on the actual, your actual data, right? Essentially your population, okay? It can describe a population, like for example, the mean price of a house right now, right? Ben, what do you remember can get affected? What affects the mean?
The outliers.
The outlier, right? So what does that even mean, the outlier?
The odd number.
Yeah, does a literal odd number? What do you mean by the odd number?
The odd one out.
The odd one out, like for example, like the one that can have an effect that might have got, like, for example, 100% in a test, right? So that could be an outlier, right? So let's say, for example, this is the outlier. What is actually being affected here? What's moving?
The average.
The average. Have a look at that, guys. So when we move, like even for example, let's say for example we bring this up here, right? Okay, even if I move just this particular point in the middle, not everything. What thing? The mean, the average, right? Look at the average. So one person in this class, Ilya, one person in this class can have an effect on the average. So let's say, for example, one person, like let's say as we discussed before, bang, they managed to score 33 out of 33. That has a massive impact on our class average. Okay? Now, is the median moving?
No.
What is the median?
The middle number.
The middle number, correct. The middle number will still stay the same, right? Okay, so here, what could potentially affect the middle number? What could I do to change it? Take a guess.
Get rid of one of the things.
Sorry?
Get rid of one of them.
The middle numbers?
No.
Or move the middle numbers?
No,
get
I
rid of
mean,
one of the
yeah,
numbers.
get rid of one of
One of the
numbers.
scores.
So get rid of one of the scores. How would you get rid of one of the scores? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, like if it's not there, then it'll be.
Oh, okay, right. So let's.
Ili's scores.
So, but let's say for example, we move. You can't really get rid of the score because everyone has to sit the test, right? But let's say for example, the actual person who scored in towards the middle. Does that have an effect on the median now? Yeah, because why? What is the median about, Riley? Right, it's the middle number. So if I move any of the middle numbers, that's going to change the middle number. Simple as that, right? But if I change any of the other numbers, let's say I keep the middle section the same, and I change any of the other numbers, then that has an effect on the mean. Even this one will have an effect on the mean. It has an effect on the mean and the median. Okay? So like, you will see this in real life where they talk about the mean housing prices. Some houses are going for like, let's say 20 million. What do you think that has an effect on? The mean price or the median price?
Median.
The mean price. Yeah? So let's say there's a couple of houses that are auctioning for like, a couple of million, and every other house is auctioning for, let's say, $600,000, $700,000. That affects the mean housing price. That's what they mean on the news. That's an unintentional pun. Right, so that kind of covers that section about mean and median. But this gives you a visual representation of that. Okay? But let's say, for example, everyone in the test, right? They scored 10 out of 10. And there was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do I find out the mean for this sim?
You add them all up and divide them by 1.
Yeah, so how many are there? What's the total score? 50. How many students sat the test?
5,
5. What's the average?
10.
10. That actually represents it, doesn't it? Yeah, but as soon as someone scores, let's say 3 or 4 or 5, that affects the class average. Okay? And then people look at this data and then they'll start making, like, even statisticians and people who forecast the actual, financial situation at the moment, especially coming after COVID. There are a lot of people that are predicting things, right? How does this affect the economy? Okay, and they look at this kind of stuff and they decide what they will do for the better of the country. That's kind of what they do, okay? So housing prices, mean housing prices, median housing prices, okay? That's what all these kind of terms come from, statistics. All good, you can start. Okay, so